Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Up Your Alley. It's a podcast with two best friends. That's me. My name is Taylor Edgar, and with me, as always, is my best friend, Jake Baggett. Say hi, Jake.
Hey, buddy.
It's a show where we recommend things to each other, and then we come back the next week to talk about them and grade them on a scale of 1 to 3 based on how much it is up our individual alleys. Jake is currently behind. Oh, I rearranged the studio.
Oh,
the
my
scoreboard.
gosh, it's over here. 55 to 50 Ben Affleck.
Oh, yeah, the Ben Affleck candles blog. I think it says 54. 55 to 54. Jake's 1 point behind. And we will see if that score stays the same after we talk about our recommendations this week. Jake's rec for me was the 2023 Netflix film. Was it Netflix or is it just on Netflix?
I think it was Netflix.
Oh, yeah, distributed by Netflix. Yeah, they cloned Tyrone, and my recommendation for Jake, the 2023 film, The Holdovers. We will talk about all that in just a bit, but first be sure to hit the subscribe button on whatever you're listening to this or watching this on. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, all the social medias and that stuff, and tell your friends about the podcast. That's the call to action. We're good. What's up, Jake?
Hey, buddy.
Took a week off due to weather.
It
sucked. Like, I think it was pretty for like a minute.
Yeah.
It really threw off my whole day because the snow came like 12 hours before it was supposed to.
Yeah.
It was last Monday, Martin Luther King Day. It was supposed to, like they were saying, it's going to start snowing at like 4 o'clock. And I'm like, good, I'll be able to get all my stuff done before that. And then I woke up and there was 2 inches of snow on the ground. And I was just like,
I remember that. Yeah.
And then it just kind of kept going all week. So we decided to just call off the podcast for a week.
Yeah. I was in Maryland.
You
as
were.
well.
You went to the MagFest, the Mid-Atlantic Games Festival.
Yeah. Music, Arts, and Gaming.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I thought it was Mid-Atlantic Games.
I'm pretty sure it was Music, Arts, and
Regardless.
Gaming.
It's a big nerd convention.
It's a convention for people to dress up and have fun, play games.
I saw some clips on their Instagram page. Look,
Yeah.
was it at the MGM National Harbor?
No, Gaylord.
Gaylord, okay.
Yeah.
Still same area, basically.
Same area.
Yeah.
Right down the road.
Yeah, gorgeous looking spot. It looked like from the camera view that they had on their Instagram, some people playing some video game music, and a bunch of people seem like they're having a good time listening to it.
Yeah. They had a band. They had somebody on stage. This would have been your favorite. That was speed running video games.
Love a speed run.
Live band for the soundtrack.
Nuh-uh.
Even doing the death
Really?
death
What
song.
game was it?
I can't remember.
Oh.
Because I wasn't there for it. I left early.
Yeah.
But when I saw them do it, it was Castlevania.
Wow. Symphony of the Night?
No, just the first Castlevania.
OG
from
Castlevania.
NES.
Still
Yeah.
great music.
Great music.
God, that's really fun.
Iconic music.
I saw someone doing that. It popped up on my Instagram feed a while back, and it was a live action or live band playing Mario Kart 64 music while there was a Mario Kart tournament.
See?
And they were like watching it, and then when someone got a star, they would just break the music and start doing da, 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 da. And I was just like, oh, that's such a cool gig to do.
That's really fun.
It was fun.
But it was a lot of fun seeing. I have a picture of for some reason, when I was walking down the hallway, there was like a group of like 4 Waluigis being like, hey, Waluigi. And just more and more Waluigis showing up going, oh, hey.
Jesus Christ.
It was pretty cool. It was
Just
about
a bunch of tall, skinny guys that are just like, I guess this is my costume.
about 8 Waluigis sitting there being like, oh, hey.
It's a pretty good fix. I've never done
That was
cosplay.
fun.
Did you do any cosplay?
No, absolutely not.
Someone-
That's not my style.
Someone tagged me in a Facebook post recently, someone I went to high school with. And it was an old Halloween costume where I was dressed up as Kevin Smith's Silent Bob.
Yes, I remember you being Silent Bob
It's
way
just,
back when.
When you're a chubby kid and you own a trench coat, that's just a great... I think I ran the
You
Silent
just
Bob.
don't talk.
Yeah. I mean, I got into Halloween, never cosplaying. There's not much of a difference.
No,
but-
it's not.
Yeah.
Because it's costume.
Yeah. I remember, I think it was my sophomore year of college, I went to go and visit my buddy who went to Virginia Tech and had to come up with a Halloween costume. So it was right after Nacho Libre came out. And I'm a big Jack Black fan. Still am. He's an inspiration to all husky gentlemen. And so I got a luchador mask from Hot Topic. And then Joanne Fabrics got a length of fabric for a cape. And then a pair of like boys medium sweatpants for tights.
Yeah.
And then like some granny panties, I believe they're called, to pull up over so it looked like the luchador outfit. Great costume.
You would have had a fun time at MagFest.
I probably would have, but you know, I'm out of the game. I can't do it anymore. I was here going stir crazy, being snowed in.
Yeah.
Rearranging the whole studio, as you've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
the studio looks great.
Now we got a projector going. We got some new little guards. I got my Fat Mike signature guitar picks, which I think are completely unnecessary.
Well, hey,
But yeah, I'll
you
take
wanted
it.
them, you got them.
Watched a couple good movies. I did want to bring this up.
Uh-huh.
One of your previous recommendations completely ruined a movie for me.
How?
So it's something that I was going to recommend to you. I'll recommend it to the listeners because it's still a good movie. It's available now on Netflix. It's the movie from last year, Dumb Money.
Dumb Money.
It's based on the GameStop stock that went up.
Oh, okay.
So it's basically like the Big Short, but
Yeah.
about GameStop instead of the real estate market.
So-
Seth Rogen's in it. Paul Dano plays the guy Roaring Kitty that kind of did the whole thing.
Meh.
Yeah, it's when, in 2021 when the GameStop stock went
They
up.
want to
and-
do a Big Short
yeah,
type movie.
They tried to do a Big Short. Well, the people that
No, the people that made this movie wanted to do a Big Short.
Right,
About the
but
people that wanted to do a Big Short.
the people that this movie is based on were trying to do a Big Short, and the Big Short is referenced in this
Yeah,
movie.
big surprise.
But it ruined it for me because I think you're supposed to be like, oh, these people are the good guys. Like, what a great thing this was. These people buying GameStop. And one of your previous recommendations, Dan Olson
Yeah.
from Folding Ideas, he did In Search of Flat Earth that we talked about.
Yeah.
He has one about this. I think it's
This
called
is financial advice.
This is Financial Advice. It's one of his more recent ones.
And it's great.
It's great, but his documentary, and I highly recommend that too on the Folding Ideas YouTube channel. This is Financial Advice. Watch, if you're going to watch either of those things, I recommend watching Dumb Money before watching This is Financial Advice, because This is Financial Advice completely ruins it for you because it takes a turn just like everything else does on the internet apparently from, hey, isn't this a great positive thing? Everyone's making money on GameStop too.
There's a very scary man that comes out of this.
Yes.
And just so many wild actors.
Right, and it goes immediately to conspiracy theories and swindlers and con men.
Everybody wants to romanticize something in the movies.
Yes.
When something like this, which is a true story, it's something that is kind of fun at the beginning, of course.
Right.
But then, once anything goes on,
And-
I think about this a lot when a recommendation that you had for me, that DC punk scene documentary,
Punk the Capital.
Punk the Capital,
Available to stream on Kello.
where they were talking just at the end, where the girl was one of the ladies that used to do the punk scene,
Yeah.
the hardcore scene. She was like, I used to go there all the time. I used to run these things, and then, it's just more people started showing up, and then just more people you don't like. So I just kind of left.
Yeah.
I was like, that's everything right there.
You're
Something
not wrong.
is so awesome and cool.
Yeah.
But if you just stick with it long enough, Nazis are going to show up.
Yes. And Nazis show up in This is Financial
Yeah.
Advice too. But the Dumb Money is a great movie. It's not going to be a wreck because I think it would be a week 2 from you. But it's on
Yeah.
Netflix. I mean, if you want to watch it, it's good. Seth Rogen's in it.
Sounds like a big show type thing.
Seth Rogen.
I don't know how I feel about Seth Rogen anymore.
He's great.
Maybe I should watch it again.
Vincent-
Should watch it just to feel something about Seth Rogen again.
Vincent D'Onofrio plays one of the big money guys. I forget the guy's name. Cohen is his last name. He owns the Mets. But Vincent D'Onofrio is in that.
I like him.
Yeah, he's great. Have you watched any of Echo on Disney Plus?
No, I'm not going to watch anything.
I'm halfway through. It's
like
good. I will say this: you'd like Echo.
Yeah?
Yes,
That's good to hear.
I think Echo would probably be your favorite, maybe
Wow.
out of the Disney Plus Marvel things, just because it is so low level.
Street level stuff, eh?
Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio's back as Kingpin. The actress who plays Echo, whose name I forget, she's fantastic. And since the character Echo is deaf and communicates through sign language, a lot of the dialogue is through sign, and it's just really well shot. Everything's great, and it's great. Just Echo's great. We should watch it.
Yeah.
Not a recommendation. I have too many recommendations for you this week. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that later.
Interesting.
Another big story: the Oscars came out.
Yes.
Did you
it
watch
did.
any of the
I've seen what some
think
stuff.
pieces?
I just saw stuff that was nominated.
Yeah.
Barbie, Oppenheimer,
There's the
Holdovers.
big thing for the nominations is Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig did not get nominated for Barbie,
My favorite.
but Ryan Gosling did.
My favorite was they're like, how could they snub a woman for best lead actress? They're like, here's a little tip. Like, all the other actresses and best actresses are women.
Yeah.
So we're still kind of representing them.
Although America Ferrera got nominated for Best Supporting Actress for Barbie.
That's amazing.
But for Best Picture, I think we did this last year, where it's movies that see how many of these we've actually seen.
No.
American Fiction, don't know.
Haven't even heard of it.
It's Jeffrey Wright, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen the poster since then.
Haven't seen it. Anatomy of a Fall, I know, is a foreign film.
I watched the trailer for that.
Looks good.
It looks interesting.
Barbie, we both saw.
Yes.
The Holdovers, we both saw. We're talking about that today. Killers of the Flower Moon, still haven't seen.
Still haven't seen that.
Maestro, haven't seen. Oppenheimer, I saw. Past Lives, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest, I don't know.
And Zone of Interest is another one that I just hear.
Right.
Some people just say, "This is a movie." I don't even think I've heard that it's good or bad.
Yeah, and
so that's interesting to me.
It's Best Directing. I think Martin Scorsese. I don't think is going to get it. I think Christopher Nolan's probably going to get it for Oppenheimer.
Wow.
Just because
you saw that one movie.
No, because I saw that movie and really, well, I'll get into this when we talk about The Holdovers, but I think The Holdovers was pretty great directing, but it's stylized and it was on purpose. Actor in a leading role, hate to go on The Holdovers again, but I think Paul Giamatti, I think it's his...
You think this is his year?
I think it might be the year they give it to him just
because... They gave him a Golden Globe.
Yes, they did. Or Cillian Murphy's going to get it. Because he was amazing in Oppenheimer.
But again, we haven't seen all these movies.
No, we haven't. And that's something we should probably work on more. Yeah. Best Adapted Screenplay, I think that's where Barbie's going to get it.
Yeah.
Which I still think it's funny that it's an adapted screenplay.
It's just adapted. It makes perfect sense.
From nothing. It's adapted from a doll.
From Barbie.
I know. Okay. We've had this conversation. Best Animated Feature... I'd really like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse to win, but also it's the only one of these that I've seen.
Is TMNT up there?
No, it's not, but Elemental is.
I watched TMNT.
How was?
Fantastic.
Yeah. My brother was big proponent of TMNT.
My thing was they actually got teenagers to be...
It's almost like it makes sense.
The Mutant Turtles.
Yeah.
It gave it a whole... it gave it such a grand level of appreciation for these characters. Just listening to these kids just prattle on back and forth, being like they're really annoying me. It's like just like teenage boys do.
Exactly.
And it was like just perfect.
I think it was because Seth Rogen was a producer on that, and I think he said in one of his early on things when people were like, "Oh, you actually got kids to play the teenagers," he's like, "Yeah, I feel like for years people were focusing too much on the ninja part."
Yeah.
And they're teenagers first.
But, like, which one's the Rhino, Bebop or Rocksteady?
That would be Rocksteady.
Rocksteady's design is my favorite.
Really?
That's the coolest I've ever seen Rocksteady look.
That's pretty awesome.
So, and, like, the whole movie looks great.
Huh.
And the story was great. And just, yeah.
I'm going to check it out. It's on streaming now, so I'll check that out. But also, the new Hayao Miyazaki is on.
I need to watch that.
Boy and the Heron. Yeah, I was going to go see it, I think, last weekend, but I ended up seeing The Beekeeper, which you still haven't seen.
No.
And we could talk about
We were going to go together.
I understand, but you were unavailable, and I needed to go see The Beekeeper. I will say this. Yeah. Completely unironically.
Yeah.
Beekeeper is an amazing movie.
Dude. This is the weirdest thing.
One of the best cinema going experiences I've had in recent memory.
You were by yourself.
I was.
Did you clap with everybody?
I laughed a good bit.
Okay.
I think it's the perfect level of campy. It's directed by David Ayer, who did the bad Suicide Squad movie. Yeah. And he also did Fury. Have you seen Fury?
No. But I know that's the
Shia LaBeouf and Brad Pitt are in a tank.
Yeah,
killing Nazis. Great movie. And The Beekeeper is unironically fantastic. I think it's better than the two Meg movies as far as Statham movies
goes.
That's
insane.
Yeah.
That first Meg came out of nowhere to become...
Well, yeah. And then after they killed that Meg, the other Meg came out of nowhere and ate that other Meg.
They kept that one Meg.
I think the Oscars are kind of unimportant, but
I don't think award shows are important. I think they're fun to talk about, but I also think that they're all just a big sham.
Yes.
For rich people to pat themselves on the back.
The big nomination that I'm so hoping, if there's one movie on here that I'm pulling for, it's in the category of best visual effects. Godzilla -1 got nominated.
Yeah.
The first Godzilla movie to be nominated for an Oscar.
I
Did
mean,
you see the clip?
I'm extremely biased.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched the clip that
of
you're
the,
talking about.
So there's a clip
the
going
Japanese
around.
team.
Yeah, it's the team from Japan, because we've talked on previous episodes of how much we both loved Godzilla -1. But the team from Japan that they were watching, waiting for the nominations, and they had like party poppers and confettis, and they were so stoked.
Yeah.
And I was just, God damn it, I hope this movie wins, because
I'm super biased on this one because
Yeah.
I love that movie.
it's a great movie.
If they
I'm
win an
shocked
award,
it
that's
didn't
great.
get more stuff. Like
Best foreign film?
foreign language film, maybe, or shit.
What's up for best foreign language film?
just best picture? Why not just best picture?
You can't do it. It's got a big monster in it.
Best original song, just the Godzilla theme song all over again.
Just him screaming.
Best sound design, yeah, it could be that.
Best sound
Let me
design.
see. I don't see best foreign film.
Man, is there not a best foreign film?
Best soundtrack though is
Barbie.
Well, Barbie's on there, but also Oppenheimer, Ludwig Göransson. He's the new John Williams. Like I love him. He's fantastic.
You're so in on this Oppenheimer.
It's a good movie. You
I
haven't seen
it.
Oppenheimer.
I haven't seen it.
There's a big bomb.
I don't care about bombs.
I know.
I do care about bombs when they're fun, but this doesn't sound fun.
It is fun.
It seems a lot of Cillian Murphy sweaty and
He's
like
very-
really close to the
He's-
camera,
He's so sweaty and shaky.
and Christopher Nolan being like, "Back it up a little bit, Chris."
Robert Downey Jr. Got his second nomination for Best Supporting Actor for that.
Yeah, right.
Do you remember what his first one was?
I want to guess. I know it. Tropic Thunder.
It was Tropic
Oh
Thunder.
my gosh,
Academy Award nominated for that movie that everyone now pretends doesn't exist.
that movie's fantastic.
No, it holds up. I watched it like last year at some point.
It's amazing.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, a bunch of care went into making that movie,
Yeah.
and we got to see it before the Tom Cruise
Was widely
reveal.
known. Yeah.
Yes. No. Yeah. No. Like we didn't know Tom Cruise was going to be in that movie.
I think it was like the second or third week that they started putting him in the commercials.
Right. They're like,
'Cause
and
word
Lex
got out.
Goldman starring as himself. And
Yeah.
You're like, oh, but when he shows up and he's just such a great comedic actor, it's so frustrating
Yeah.
that he doesn't do more comedy stuff.
Yeah.
But
Apparently he's a super
good.
nice guy.
apparently he's a super nice guy. He's a Scientologist. So he's a psychopath on some level.
Yeah.
But apparently he's really nice.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Watch the clip of him conducting, which is telling me
like a train?
like conducting an
orchestra?
orchestra for the Mission Impossible theme.
Huh.
And it's making me think that conducting must be super duper easy.
There's a thing going around because Bradley Cooper in the
Exactly.
Maestro. Is that what you were going to get at?
You read my mind.
Yeah, because Bradley Cooper in the Maestro, there was
like-
something that was like, he studied for 3 months to learn how to conduct. And I'm like, did I ever tell you about the time I conducted an
Yeah.
orchestra?
I conducted orchestra for practice.
Okay, so I went and I was in ninth grade. My parents took me up to the Kennedy Center to see Marvin Hamlish, a Broadway composer and conductor.
Oh, sick.
He was conducting the National Symphony Orchestra. I was in band at the time, so I had a date, and we went. My parents, my date, and myself. We were sitting front row in the Kennedy Center, the big auditorium.
Front row at Marvin Hamlish, huh?
Right? I had no idea who Marvin Hamlish was. But Marvin Hamlish, he was just kind of sitting, and it's, black tie Kennedy Center, and there's this, portly, cherubic boy sitting there, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Marvin Hamlish, and you're a youth, so kind of why are you here?" And I told him everything, and I said, I'm in band, I play bassoon. At that point, I was in the Piedmont Symphony Orchestra, humble brag, but, whatever. And he was like, "Oh, do you want to play professionally?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Why?" And I was like, "Because it's the bassoon. Like, I'm not going to do that." And then at the very end, he asked me, he's like, "Do you want to come up and conduct?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I got on stage at the Kennedy Center at 14 years old and conducted. Now, granted, these are the top of the top musicians.
Yeah.
They weren't looking at me for clues and everything like that.
Yeah.
But I still feel like I figured it out pretty well. It's not super hard.
That's what I'm saying. Nothing messed up.
No.
When you got up there.
And it wasn't like if I had waved my arms wrong, it would have just derailed the whole train either.
You're like, oh God, the tuba's dead.
Yeah. The tuba's dead. Somehow this viola's on fire. What happened? The conductor wasn't holding it.
You tap on the music
Yeah.
stand, you go, Hooba steak. And you start
All right, Papa Roach on 3. And 1, 2. Yeah, ninth grade was weird. But yeah, a lot of that stuff, the ship kind of steers itself after a certain point.
That's
but
what I would figure.
Everyone was
Yeah,
on
good
Bradley
point.
Cooper's
There you go.
dick about being Oh, he was playing a conductor.
Yeah, what I hear, like, it took him like 3 months to study that. I mean, I'm like, he really couldn't get it, could he?
It'd be like Cillian Murphy learned how to build a bomb. And you're like, you didn't have to do that,
I mean,
man.
I'll say it like this. I studied for that A+ exam, right? It took me 2 years.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But, like, people do it fast.
Right.
You know, and on average, they do about a year if they have nothing.
Huh.
You know what I mean? So I don't use it as a brag. It took me so long to learn.
It's almost the Streisand effect in a way, where they're talking about how hard they worked at something, and you're just like, it's not. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? One, why? Because no one's going to be able to tell if you did it shitty. Like, no one's watching Maestro and then going to call Bradley Cooper didn't even fucking conduct properly.
I mean, you just watch. What's the Maestro that he was?
Leonard Bernstein.
Yeah, just watch Bernstein.
Yeah.
And then just
I think
copy
it was Leonard
it.
Bernstein.
Yeah.
It's one of the guys.
Just copy his movements, and then boom.
Yeah.
You're an actor. But to each their own, their process is their own. But when I hear stuff like, it took me so long to learn this, I mean, it just like, you must have really struggled, huh?
Yeah.
Like, good for you, though, but...
I didn't know things were so hard for you, Bradley Cooper. I think he directed that too, though. So,
yes, he did.
Fucking good for him.
He had to put on a big nose.
That's my favorite. He did put on a big nose. That's a whole different thing.
That's so good.
Another thing he probably didn't have to do. All right. So we are going to be talking about one of the Oscar nominees as soon as we get back from this quick break and a word from this week's sponsor. Is something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human who lives in the world and is going through a hard time, therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a very different way. That's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible, and that's important because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially if you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with your therapist, and there's a link in our description. It's betterhelp.com/Allie. That's betterhelp.com/Allie. Clicking that link helps you support this channel and also get you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist to see if it helps you. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't fit in with your first therapist, and that's common, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without the stress of insurance or who's in your network or anything like that. I'm a big proponent of therapy, and anybody that knows me can attest to the difference that it's made in my life the past couple years, and I recommend this program to anybody. So if you're struggling, please consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Allie. That's betterhelp.com/Allie for 10% off your first month. And we want to thank BetterHelp for supporting our podcast. Let's get into our first recommendation, Jake's recommendation for me, the 2023. It's billed as a science fiction comedy mystery. They're just throwing a bunch of words up there.
It's all three of those things.
It's 4 things.
Science fiction. It's a science. It's a fiction.
Yes, it is. It is 3 things. You're right. They Cloned Tyrone, available to stream on Netflix, starring John Boyega, Tiana Paris, and Jamie Foxx. Also, David Alan Grier and Kiefer Sutherland have bit parts in it, and they're both very good as
Always love seeing David Alan Grier show up.
David Alan Grier is a fucking delight.
Yep.
He's such a cool dude.
And he's great in this movie.
He is.
Shows up for a little bit, and every time you're just like, oh, yeah, there he is.
All right, so Jake, why did you recommend this, and how'd you find out about it, and all that? You know, all the fucking stuff we do.
I was at home, and my buddy was staying, and he wanted to see it.
Yeah?
And I was like, I just want to play games. But then the movie was on for about 10 minutes, and then I was like, I'm really interested in where this movie is going.
So
I like these characters.
So it's set in the modern day, but kind of like when we talk about the Holdovers too, the Holdovers was set in the 70s and it's made like a movie in the 70s. This was made in the vein of, I think the term is blaxploitation films from the 70s.
Yeah.
And it kind of has that vibe to it.
Yeah.
And I think it sort of plays off of that, and when we get into spoilers, we'll talk about it, why. And just is fantastically made, very funny, very well acted.
Yeah. So yeah, it was something that the name didn't even turn me on to it. They Clone Tyrone just sounded like drivel to me. I still don't think it's a really good name for this movie.
They say it. No, they don't.
Yes, they do. They say it at the very end.
No, they don't say they clone Tyrone. They say Tyrone in the U.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then you say,
"Oh shit, they made us say it." Good job, Jewel Taylor.
But it just started hitting all those, started scratching all those itches that I enjoy. And I don't think I got you to watch a blaxploitation film yet. And that's something that I really enjoy.
No, not
and
yet.
watching this, I was like, you're going to love it because it's got John Boyega and Jamie Foxx being just captivating.
Yes.
And the lady, Tiona, she's incredible. And they make a trio that is just hard not to watch.
So
it's so funny, but it's got a great soundtrack. It's shot so well.
Great, yeah.
The story is so intriguing. I was like, this is great. This is a perfect thing to show Taylor.
So the movie starts out, John Boyega is a drug dealer, and it's kind of a nondescript American city.
Yeah.
He's just shown waking up, working out. He deals with some shit with some rival drug dealer, runs over a guy. Just basic movie. He goes and finds Jamie Foxx and Tiona Paris, their characters. Jamie Foxx plays a pimp.
Yep.
And Tiona Paris is one of his ladies, which is how I shall refer to it.
Perfect.
And
Lady of the evening.
Yes. And just to collect money from him, everything like that. Mm-hmm. And after the first day, John Boyega gets shot by the rival drug dealers. Mm-hmm. Cuts to John Boyega waking up the next day, going about his day regularly. Everything seems fine until he goes to see Jamie Foxx again. And Jamie Foxx is like, they shot you.
Yeah.
Like,
I saw you dead.
I saw you dead. What the fuck are you doing? And John Boyega has no memory of it. And so they kind of go down this rabbit hole of uncovering the conspiracy. What the fuck happened to John Boyega? What's going on in this town? Mm-hmm. And deep government cover-ups, yada, yada, yada. Goes down the rabbit hole. It's a great movie. So
great movie.
That's the premise of it. I want to say the star of this movie to me, and the star of anything he touches, is Jamie Foxx.
I think Jamie Foxx is a perfect role in this for John Boyega and Tiona Paris to shine.
Yeah, so Jamie Foxx is one of the people that he can be the star.
Yeah.
But he
elevated this movie just by being such a good, like, a comic relief of sorts.
Right. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but no, we did talk about it. The movie The Burial that he's in, where he plays a lawyer and Tommy Lee Jones is in it, and they're suing. No,
I don't think we talked about that.
We didn't. It's an Amazon original movie. It's basically Tommy Lee Jones is a.
Tommy Lee Jones is still alive.
Yeah, he's still around. He's kicking around.
Wow.
He runs a chain of burial homes, and he's getting like boxed out by Big Funeral, I guess the company.
Yeah.
It's a David and Goliath story, and Jamie Foxx plays.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx plays the attorney that sues the big company for Tommy Lee Jones, and Jamie Lee Foxx is just fucking incredible.
Yeah.
But anytime he walks on to anything, I'm just like, I'll watch.
This shows his prowess to me, big time. Somebody that just knows that I need to play my role to make this movie as fantastic as it can be.
And John Boyega is great. I like John Boyega a lot. I think you mentioned before the podcast, you said he got done dirty by Star Wars.
Yes. And Star Wars did him dirty.
Yeah, he was great in it.
Yes. They had nothing to do with his character anymore, and they wanted him gone.
Right, and he kind of got written out because Rian Johnson wanted to do one thing, and then who was the guy that was supposed to do Rise of Sky? Colin Trevorrow. He was supposed to do...
I don't even know anything about this.
I think he was supposed to do the Rise of Skywalker, but then he got the boot, and then he did... they brought J.J. Abrams back in.
I remember that they brought J.J. Abrams.
Right.
But I do not remember what the director was supposed to be.
Yeah, but so anyway, you are right. He did not get a fair shake. I think to act in a Star Wars.
His character was very compelling.
Right,
and to do that to him was upsetting.
Oh yeah, should put Jamie Foxx in there. Jamie Foxx could be in anything. And also Tiona Paris in this. She's great. The first time
Yes.
she's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, she's Monica.
she?
She's Monica Rambeau in the Marvels and stuff. That's available streaming on Disney Plus next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
She is so pretty,
yeah.
but she does an incredible job.
She first popped up on my radar in Mad Men.
Oh, yeah?
She plays Don Draper's secretary that comes in.
John Hand Draper.
Yeah, well,
I know, but it's still a hand draper
so
is kind of funny.
I definitely refer to people as their actors' names a lot of times. It really has to be, the character has to be that fucking good
I hear
for me
you.
to refer to that. And Don
I'm a little
Draper's
bit like that, yeah.
Don Draper's one of those characters.
Okay.
And also it helps that John Hamm is completely different than Don
Yeah,
Draper.
Very true.
He's a very silly man.
Yeah. He likes to be funny.
Yeah. But Tiana
This
Paris
is the first thing that I've ever seen her in, and she is
knocks it out of the park. She
so
plays
great.
the call girl named Yo-Yo.
Yes.
And what was fucking Jamie Foxx's name? Slim Charles? No, Slim Charles is from The Wire. It's like Slick Charles or something like that.
I can't remember.
Yeah, we'll
Right off
find
the top of my head.
But regardless, the mystery on it's great. You're hooked from when John Boyega comes back.
Yeah.
Is Slick Charles.
Slick Charles.
Great pimp name. And he is full on pimp
My
mode.
favorite, they are uncovering a conspiracy, working together.
Right.
But they are who they are. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So, like, when they're sneaking into places, they're not, coordinating like a well-grouped,
Yeah,
like
they're not-
a trained team.
They're not the Navy SEAls walking in there.
Yeah.
It's a pimp, a drug dealer, and a hooker
Yeah.
breaking into a government facility.
So, like, when when Jamie Foxx just sees a pile of white powder, he immediately just snorts some of it.
He does. So
That's
okay.
when I knew. I was like,
So-
this is fantastic.
Before we go forward, I'll give my grade. This for me, it's a strong 2.
Wow.
It's a
I thought a 3 was coming my way.
It's a strong 2, and
Wow.
I'll tell you why before we get into it. Because I really did like it.
Yeah.
I really did. And honestly, you've kind of rubbed off on me a little bit by giving strong 2s to things.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm like, I get where you're coming back saying it's a strong 2. I think it's a great movie. I don't think it was super original.
Okay.
I think it's kind of I like movies, and I'm trying to think of another. I will probably think of 30 examples later, but something that is stylized in a period but set in the modern day. So like this feels like a 70s blaxploitation. It feels kind of like Shaft or I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, any one of those movies, but it's set in the modern day. And
I understand.
I think it's just really well written. It's nice. It moves at a good clip.
It's funny. Kiefer Sutherland
I think
is great.
I think where it drags for me is a similar movie in the vein, because spoiler alert for this, white people are the bad guys.
Yeah.
And
Well, let's try and elaborate a little more.
the government's the bad guys.
The government is taking this town and they're trying out these new
mind control substances.
mind control substances
Right.
on this town, but they clone these types of people, drug dealers, pimps, and hookers,
Paxters.
to keep the status quo going. They need these types of elements
Right.
in this community so that nobody gets the idea to rebel.
Right.
And
Also so other people don't come into the community and try to like find out more about what's going on there, because no one wants to go there if there's a lot of drug dealing and prostitution and things like that.
right.
A bunch of nerds won't want to go there.
So it's so they get this conspiracy unraveled for them.
Yeah.
And now, what do you do with that information?
Right.
You
They burn it down.
burn it down. Absolutely.
So the movie that I would compare it to is Get Out, where there's a mystery going on, and there's the first chunk of the movie, you're trying to figure out what the hell is happening.
Yeah.
And I think that once you figure out the twist in this, then it starts to drag a little bit, where in Get Out, once you figure out the twist, it ramps up.
Okay.
Like this kind of like, it's a great twist, great plot, well acted, but then it just kind of just like, yeah,
Okay.
it's nice. Whereas other movies, and I will say this about Jordan Peele, what was Jordan Peele?
Us? Nope.
Us, yeah. That's kind of similar in this vein to once you figure out the twist, it just kind of stays the same. It doesn't ramp up once you get, the full story.
I'm a big fan of this movie.
Yeah.
I think what kept me going the whole time was the charisma of the team.
Yes.
How fantastic everybody worked
For a
off
group
of
of
each
three,
other.
they're great.
Yeah, this is one of the best trios I've seen in a movie
All
in a
three
long
of them
time.
work for Disney in the past 5 years.
But all three of them just had such a wonderful charisma
Yeah.
that kept any interaction that they were going through
And
so fascinating.
We brought up David Allen Greer. He plays the pastor in the church.
Yes.
He's got a big wig and a big gray beard.
Yeah.
And he's just hamming it up, chewing the scenery.
Yep.
And I love to see David Allen Greer.
I just love seeing David Allen Greer.
Yeah, and
That's
the
for
supporting
sure.
cast is great, and it's really, really well written, well acted. Kiefer Sutherland as like the government drone.
I can't think of any more black specific sci-fi like this, other than stuff that's like Jordan Peele,
Right.
and I would love to see more stuff like this.
Well,
That's another thing.
what was the one John Boyega was in when he was
Attack the Block?
Attack the Block? Yeah,
Another awesome movie.
yeah. That was God. How old was
I
he
saw
in
that before
What year did
Star
that come
Wars. I don't know, but
2011.
the monsters in that they look awesome, and John Boyega's got just wow his normal voice.
Yeah.
It's like when you find out Cillian Murphy's normal voice. You're like,
Yeah.
oh wow.
There's a couple actors like that where you hear their regular voice and you're like, I had no fucking idea.
Yeah.
That's what you were doing. It's weird. Stop it.
But
Talk like a stormtrooper again.
it was great to see it.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
definitely
I
wanted
think-
you to see something like that.
I think everyone should watch it. I think if it sounds interesting at all to you, I think it's definitely a good movie to put on. But yeah, it's a strong 2.
Yeah.
It's a strong 2.
I think everybody should see it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a 3 from me.
Well, I would hope that's why you recommended it. But yeah, it's a good one. It's probably just under 2 hours. It's available on Netflix if you want a good movie. Yeah, They Clone Tyrone.
Yep.
For sure.
It's
So
funny.
let's get into my recommendation for Jake, which was the 2023 film The Holdovers, available to stream now on Peacock,
Yeah, buddy.
starring 2 Golden Globe winners and also 2 Oscar nominees now for this movie. This movie's nominated for best. Oh, that's what I forgot to bring up about this movie. The guy that directed this,
Yeah.
Joel Taylor,
Yeah.
he wrote the new Space Jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the new Space Jam.
Good. It was fucking terrible. And now I'm upset because this was a well-written movie and he still put out fucking Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Do you don't think that WB didn't have a bunch of their producer fingers in this pie?
For sure.
I'm sure he wrote a fantastic movie, and then executives were. It was like, what if we got somebody to say, "What's up, Doc"? What if we got Bill Rickner in here? I don't know who that is, but
Yeah.
he's like, he's my buddy. He's
There's
my
a-
neighbor.
There's a bit in the new season of Rick and Morty is available to stream on Max now. I guess whatever their deal is with Cartoon Network, that Cartoon Network gets the exclusive streaming rights for a while. But now the whole season's on Max, so I started watching it. And there's one bit in that where, Rick and Morty, they always kill multiple versions of themselves. And at one point they kill someone, and Rick's like, no, it's okay. That's the version of us that was in the new Space Jam. And I was like, perfect. I get that it's shitty too.
Yeah.
New Rick and Morty's good. You should check that out if you got some spare time. But anyway, the Holdovers, starring Academy Award nominees Paul Giamatti and Divine Joy Randolph, and also Dominic Sessa, the kid that this is his first movie.
Yep.
Apparently, he was just a community theater, like high schoolish actor, and he's in this movie. So
Fresh off the turnip truck.
that's
saying.
You've used that expression, I want to say half dozen times over the course of this
Gotta
podcast.
use it.
Yeah. Is
Or
it just
you'll
a
lose
Superman
it.
thing?
It's just great. It's just the best thing.
Just fucking calm down, Smallville.
It's one of those sayings where it's like, where the hell did it come from? Like shit the bed.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite sayings. It's like somebody did that, and somebody was like, "That really explains a lot of situations that I'm in right now."
Michael Che had a great joke about expressions like that, where he was talking to an intern on SNL, and the intern fucked up his coffee order, and was like, "Oh, sorry, Che, I guess I really screwed the pooch on that." And he said, "What?" He's like, "Screw the pooch. It means I messed up." He's like, "No, it means you fucked a dog."
Yeah. I can't remember the comedian that I know who does screw the pooch joke. He was like, I just say, "Oh man, I really had sex with the dog on this one."
Regardless, we're
Yeah.
not talking about having sex with dogs this week.
Anymore.
We went opposite ways on that. So the Holdovers, it's set in December of 1970. Paul Giamatti plays Paul Hunnam. He's a professor at prestigious Barton Academy
Yep.
in
A high school academy.
yeah, generic New England. It's near Boston because they go to Boston in the movie. The whole premise of the movie is it's a boarding school, and on winter break, all the kids go home except for certain kids that, for whatever reason, can't go home.
Their parents can't accommodate them, so
Right.
they have to stay.
So they have to stay at the school. They're holdover for winter break. And Paul Giamatti is the professor who has to stay and kind of supervise the kids. It's set in like I said, in 1970. And one of the reasons I recommended it to you is because I know how much you like old shit. I know how much you like Criterion and classic cinema and all that shit. Movies that I find fucking boring.
It's insane.
And a slog.
That's insane.
And I just fucking hate it. Can I tell you this? 2 years ago, I rewatched The Godfather, and I was just like, this movie fucking drags
wow,
on
dude.
forever.
Your brain is turning into mush.
It's all the fucking Instagram reels. I can't handle it anymore. But this movie is shot like a movie from the 1970s.
Yes.
It has
It looks like it. It's got
big
the
dissolves. It's got weird tracking shots. It's got 10 minutes of credits at the beginning.
zooms.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. It does the Jaws zoom. I don't know what that is, but
the dolly shots.
Yeah.
Where you back up and zoom in at the same time.
yeah. It's like it's like John Wick style, or like they found out how to do that, and then every movie did it for a while.
Yeah.
It's like bullet time. Like
just-
every movie had to have that for a good bit.
It's such good stuff.
Yes. So I really liked it. I think it was a great performance by Paul Giamatti in particular, and the kid, Dominic Sessa, and Divine Joy Randolph. She plays the school cook
So
who
to
stays
me,
over with him
that
too.
was the standout performance.
Divine Joy Randolph?
Yes.
She was so good.
She was incredible.
Heartbreaking performance in a comedy.
Just unbelievable
yeah.
performance from her.
Because Giamatti's doing the curmudgeonly old professor shit, and
And he's nailing it.
And-
I'm not saying that any of the other two have no credence, because all three are fantastic.
yeah,
This is a stacked cast here.
sure is. For a small cast, too.
But I think Divine Joy
Divine Joy.
puts it over the edge.
Yeah.
Just an incredible story told wonderfully by somebody who's so standoffish about her story.
Yeah.
Just that is perfection.
Yeah,
to me.
well, as soon as she lets you in, you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
this is
you
a
just
great
know.
character.
Yeah, she just lets you know stuff matter of factly about her, but it takes something going over the edge to push her to showing the emotions of it.
Right.
Just incredible. Incredible.
And like I said, that's why I wanted you to watch it. And also, I think it's just a great movie. Like I had a couple of family members, people always, since I do this, people hit me up and like, oh, what are you watching? I'm like, you watch The Holdovers. It's streaming on Peacock.
Yeah.
Peacock's great. Ted's on Peacock. Have you watched the new Ted?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
I'm not going to watch it.
It's set in 1993, though.
There's only one joke that I saw on a clip that seems funny. It was like that we had an Indian kid that was here, but they got him. It's like, what do you mean? And he just keeps talking about something else, and then Ted just goes, "What do you mean they got him?" That was the only one that was like, "That's all right. That's kind of cute."
Sidebar for Ted.
Everything else I don't care about.
I
haven't
watched
seen the
Ted
movies.
while I was snowed in too. I think it's better Seth MacFarlane, because Seth MacFarlane, he doesn't write Family Guy anymore or anything like that. And Family Guy really, at least for me, in the college years when Family Guy was on DVD and then illegally downloaded off Pirate Bay, it was a big part of mid 2000s humor.
Yeah.
And then you get old. I think it falls into the trap of once South Park made fun of it, everyone was just like, South Park's really good at showing that the emperor has no clothes. Like as soon as South Park makes fun of it might just be me, but I know it's not, because there's a large contingent of people that as soon as South Park makes fun of something, just something genius about Matt Stone and Trey Parker,
Sure,
like,
sure.
hey, yeah,
I can understand.
these people are stupid.
Yeah.
And it,
It's funny to make fun of the formula that they had, but the
Exactly.
formula worked really well.
it did. But
a long time.
This I think is just really good Seth
You know
MacFarlane.
what was good Seth MacFarlane that I actually watched?
Ted 2.
The Orville.
Orville was great.
Orville was so much fun.
Yeah.
I wish that continued.
He wanted
because
to
that
make-
dude is a Star Trek nerd.
Yeah, he wanted to make a Star Trek
So
movie, and they
lucky I
wouldn't let
haven't
him.
recommended you Star Trek yet. You're so lucky.
If you want to talk about a boring
Count.
fucking 70s movie, the first Star Trek the motion picture.
You just don't get it. But
It's-
that's fine.
No. No, it's not 5.
You just don't get it.
There's 6 minutes of pulling up to the ship in fucking space docks.
Take it in. They made a whole ship that you get to look at.
I don't care.
Take it in, baby.
I will not. I refuse to.
Unbelievable.
I will veto. Should we give vetoes this year? You should be able to veto a
Absolutely
recommendation.
not.
No. All right, regardless. So,
I would be so mad if you vetoed something for me. I would be so mad.
see, that makes me almost want to do it.
You would not. Ooh.
I'll veto something. So I'm not going to veto this because this movie was great. I think it was a nice small film. What does it get from you? What's your rating on
It's a
this one?
3.
That's a 3?
This movie is incredible.
I knew it would be a 3.
This movie is so fantastic.
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti is awesome.
Yep.
It's a movie that what's his name? Zack Snyder. What's
That
his
is
name?
a person's name.
Rebel Moon.
Yeah. The greatest movie of
I wish he would
2003.
learn something from a movie called theming.
Yeah.
And they did such good theming through this thing, which is you get to understand somebody through their history.
Yeah.
And that really shapes who they are. Something small for Paul is that he smells like fish. Well, that's a immune deficiency that he has.
Right.
His body doesn't break down proteins correctly or something, so it comes out smelling like fish.
Right.
So it kind of changes something. He's like, I can't do anything about it.
It's worse at the end of the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just builds up. I can't take showers all the time. The kid acts out a lot, but his parents don't want him.
Right.
His dad's insane.
He brings up that his mom is, off with her new husband. She married a rich guy
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Stuck him there.
And he's going to act out. That's so much fun to see that, Paul Giamatti's curmudgeon-y, but he's, he just grew up being hard to be around.
Yeah.
And against any of his faults. It's not his fault that he's got what they call a walleye.
Yeah. He does that? That's not an effect?
I was wondering how that happened.
Yeah, I was reading so in his character in this has one lazy eye.
Yeah.
And it's a running joke. And at one point, the kid, Dominic Sessler's character, asks, he's like, I don't know which eye I'm supposed to be looking at.
Yeah.
And
So I'll just jump to the other one while I'm talking to you.
yeah. And apparently that's Paul Giamatti doing that. And he's switching it up because he
amazing.
thinks it's funny.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So-
good for Paul Giamatti.
And then the cook, you could see why she's so standoffish
Yep.
because of what happened to her family,
Yeah.
She
She had a son.
But she's so like, yeah, she pushes people away, but she's also very curt and in your face and honest about what you're doing. One of my favorite lines it's just a throwaway line where another cook is cooking and she comes up, she tastes it. She's like, why am I tasting so much paprika? Why did you put so much paprika in there? Now you're going to have to add a third a cup of water. I was like, that's somebody who's just,
Yeah.
she's not being like a jerk about
No.
it because I know her. She's actually perplexed that you put too much paprika in there.
Wasn't like she's upset. She's just curious as to why
Yeah,
you would do
She's
it.
just more like, wow.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
You didn't follow the recipe?
So I think Paul Giamatti's going to take an Oscar for this.
I think
if anyone beats him, it's Cillian Murphy.
Divine Joy
I think she deserves it.
deserves an award for this.
And
That was
granted, like we talked
beautiful.
about, we haven't really.
Oh, I'll say this. I knew I wanted to see this movie because I watched a clip first, and
Yeah.
it was when Paul Giamatti throws the football.
Oh
And
yeah.
That's just he does such an incredible job selling it.
Yeah.
Because he holds the football wrong. You could tell he puts so much effort in that throw. He goes, ugh! When he throws it, it goes nowhere. He's got a beaming smile on his face.
Yeah.
I was like, I know I'm going to enjoy watching this guy do stuff.
And also, this movie it has a plot that's it's not a big twist. It's not like
It's just a wonderful plot.
it's developing
Yeah.
the character as opposed to, I think one of my things about movies sometimes that have a twist is they kind of forget about having to develop anything because all they're focused on is getting to that twist. Some of the
Yeah.
later Shyamalan movies got to it. This is just, and it takes place over 2 fucking weeks at a
Yeah.
school. And it just is really good at developing these characters for this brief period of time.
Yeah.
And they're all in different places, but somehow they're the same people, but they're in a different spot. And you
They're-
really just get to see
They're a family.
well,
They're
yeah,
exactly what a
well-written-
family is.
well-written
because
growth.
They come to rely on each other. They love each other in their way.
Yeah.
And it's just, you see it at the party when Joy gets drunk, like too drunk. Like they call on Paul to come get her.
Right.
And Paul thought that he was in this party,
Yeah.
He thought, I am now growing up, because this party was another teacher's party, and there was a bunch of friends.
She was an administrator. She was like a secretary.
Oh, okay. So he got to meet these people. He thought he was flirting with this woman and getting game, but then her husband shows up and they kiss, and he's like, oh, I get it. It's probably pity. But he also knows it's not pretty. She's just a sweet, sweet lady, just doing a sweet, sweet thing. And then his family calls and he's like, we really need your help. And he comes and helps.
I did like in that scene when they're at the party, the kid is downstairs in the basement with the lady's niece.
Yes.
And she looks at him at one point and is like, are you trying to look down my shirt? He's like, no.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, he's such a good, awkward doofus.
He does awkward doofus so well because he's a good-looking dude. And
lanky guy. Lanky.
And just awkward when they're talking about, like, do you like art? He's like, yeah, I like Picasso, and he's like trying to pose as like Picasso stuff.
Right.
He's doing really weird stuff. And I was like, that's exactly what a weird kid does.
Kind of like what we were talking about with Ninja Turtles, just being well written. I think it's a good way of, like, sometimes when we can relate to that because we were awkward teenagers at some point.
Yeah,
but it's just a thing where it's like he's not. When he's being shitty, it's not because he's a shitty person. It's because he doesn't know how to deal with that shit. And Paul Giamatti the same way.
He feels caged, so he starts acting out.
Literally, he's stuck at the school with fucking Paul Giamatti.
Exactly. So anybody would go crazy with this stuff. And Paul Giamatti doesn't know how to show compassion because he's never really gotten compassion like that. So, and he also doesn't know how to accept compassion like that.
Right.
Something that he's not.
I did like
comfortable with
the scene for Christmas when he's giving out presents.
Yes,
Divine Joy Randolph is like, you can't treat a kid like that on Christmas, and so he gives him a copy of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Have you read Meditations?
No.
Oh God, I know what I'm recommending for you one time. So and then he gives Divine Joy Randolph, and it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, it's perfect because it comes off when he gives him this book. And Meditations, if people don't know, is written by Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. It wasn't written as like a self-help book. It was literally just like his journal. He's like, I'm going to write down things that I want to think about. Yeah. And it's just like little quick bullet points.
Paul Giamatti's character is a Roman history.
Yes, he's a classics professor.
Yes.
And
so he loves Roman history.
And Marcus Aurelius was big into Stoicism. And, reading things by Seneca and Epictetus and a bunch of the other Stoic philosophers. So it's funny when Paul Giamatti gives this boy a copy of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and you're just like, oh, shit. Like, he's trying to be the teacher. He's, like, bestowing wisdom. And I saw that because I enjoy that kind of philosophy and shit like that. There's a great guy that writes Stoicism books. I'll give you one. And... I was just like, good for him. Like this is going to be the moment when he's becoming a teacher. And then he gives a present to the cook, and it's a copy of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And then you realize, oh, that's just all he has.
That's all he has. That's all he cares about.
And then while he's moving out his books at the end of the movie, he has like a cardboard box full of just copies of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And I'm like, that's such a great moment of showing that character development where it's like he's not that great teacher, but he knows what you should read if you're supposed to be a great guy.
He's a flawed man himself.
Right, because he goes on things like, the school's Barton, and he's like, Barton men don't lie. And then while they're in Boston, he runs into someone from his past, and he immediately lies to him.
Yeah, he's, I teach abroad. I go all over the world teaching. Right. I'm not back at Barton.
Yeah, and it's just funny seeing flawed people, and then also, like...
Well, it's just wonderful. And it's
without
also,
being judgmental about it, either.
When they went to Boston, they went to the museum, and... he shows
pornographic vases.
Yeah, he shows them a pornographic vase.
Yeah,
and Paul Giamatti says, what you think is, daring or trying today has been done in every generation.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to tell you when we're watching 70s movies.
Right.
Watch it and enjoy it.
I can.
It's good.
No, this is good.
This is really good.
Some stuff back then was bad. It's like movies from the 40s when
Some
people
stuff
didn't
right
know.
now is bad.
Yes.
But that's what I'm saying is you're saying like the 40s, they don't know these things. That's not true. That's insane.
No. I'm saying they didn't know how to act.
That's not true.
And a lot
That's
of
insane.
No,
they've been acting for thousands of years.
I know, but acting on film is different than acting.
But it's not like
in a
they
Greek
did it. It's not they
amphitheater.
Went. They weren't like action, cut. Well, good enough. No.
There are old movies where the acting isn't as good just because people hadn't been doing that for so long.
I would
It's like,
say that it's just because that happens.
No.
Period.
Stop.
You stop.
You're talking like the first people that got in Model Ts were as good of drivers as F1 drivers. No, the technology's gotten better and people have gotten more skilled at the art form.
That's insane.
Right.
Comparison right there.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's a new technology.
But an F1 car is so different from a Model T.
And acting on film is so different than acting on a stage.
No, it's not.
100% it is.
No, it's
all
not.
in your face. In movies from like people learned how
Not
to act.
back then. There wasn't that much definition in television.
People learned how to act
or film.
in like 1992.
That's the craziest thing I
Everything
ever.
before that was
Bob
just
Saget was the
garbage
first actor that
No.
was great.
It was Sam Neill in Jurassic Park because there was a dinosaur there and he didn't go, "Oh my God, it's a dinosaur." It was all in his face. And you're like, I know he sees a dinosaur even though there's not a dinosaur there. And if that movie came out in the 40s, they'd be like, "Oh, jeepers, there's a big old dinosaur over there. I'm going to grab my best gal."
know this.
Yes, I do.
You do not know this.
Go and watch fucking...
Holy.
No.
I'm the
you're
one that
wrong.
does watch these
This
things.
is good because it looks like a 70s movie. It's set in the 70s, but it's people from the modern day that know how to fucking act. Old acting sucks.
That's the
so
craziest thing I've
much.
ever heard.
We've gotten better at it.
We have
They
not.
were just shitty back then.
That's the crazy.
No
I
one
don't
was-
understand.
no one was a
this
good
is exactly
pilot.
what Paul Giamatti was saying. It's like we're not better than the other generation.
No.
things.
Okay, no, he's saying nothing's new, but you can be better at something now. No one knew how to type in 1850. It didn't mean people didn't know how to put words together. It's just no one knew how to type. I'm right. I'm right.
No.
I'm right. I'm right.
No.
I'm 100%
No.
right. Old movies
No.
suck, and this movie rules.
No.
Because it's now.
No.
If this movie came out in the 70s, it would be garbage.
You want
Because it
things-
wouldn't be Paul Giamatti.
It's because you don't want to be challenged into
I don't wanna
meeting media at its level.
No, I'm good at meeting things at their level. I really enjoyed The Beekeeper. I'm not making The Beekeeper.
The beekeeper came to you.
The Beekeeper,
The beekeeper came down. He's like, "You like Jason Statham and bees, yeah?"
First of all, his accent goes in and out throughout that movie. Also, he breaks apart the barrel off a shotgun and shoves it through a guy's neck. It's fucking rad. They wouldn't do that in the 70s.
I love this rad stuff too. And yes, they did do this stuff in the 70s.
I've watched your 70s horror movie, and it wasn't... I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre was not scary. It was just upsetting. And loud, and people didn't know how to fucking act.
That movie is fantastic.
It was horribly acted.
That was not horribly acted.
It was.
This is insane.
Okay, we'll have to agree to disagree. But we could,
1992?
so Jurassic Park was the first good movie.
Holy.
It was the first good movie.
It's even throwing out fucking Columbo. You don't even enjoy Peter Falk.
He's a shitty
Isn't
actor.
great?
He's a fun guy.
It's crazy.
Great eyebrows.
You are going to die
He
on
was
this
in
hill.
He was in Princess Bride. I
And
liked
it's
Princess Bride. It's not a
wild.
well acted movie. It's Billy Crystal
This is the
in.
craziest thing that I've ever heard. This is the craziest thing I've
No,
ever heard.
that's why this is good
this
because
is
it took-
bad acting.
Yes.
We had a director up there not knowing what he's doing.
Yeah.
A cinematographer not knowing what they're doing.
No, they were doing their best.
Showing actors not knowing what they're doing
I'm not
to
saying
do
they weren't.
something.
I'm not saying there was the ability to do it well, and they just chose not to. I'm just saying your old movies suck,
That's
and new movies are
crazy.
great.
That is so crazy. That's exactly just saying, let's get rid of the old stuff
And
because
how-
we do it better.
All right, so-
Shut up, old man. You don't drink Pepsi like us. We got Pepsi Max now.
First of all, I did have a
You
Pepsi
were a
Max.
Pepsi Max guy.
I only drink Pepsi Max if they
Insane.
don't have Coca-Cola Zero sugar, and it's actually Pepsi Zero now.
Shut up, old man. We're Dr. Pepper 15 with 15 calories.
Too much sugar. I did have a Pepsi Max while I was watching The Beekeeper.
Just can't believe
All right,
that
well,
you are on this part of history.
Agree to disagree.
That is not what's
that,
happening.
That now is better than old times. Yes,
No.
I will agree on that.
No, that is the exact same as old times.
No, old times.
When it comes to movies,
100% no.
100%
You're
yes.
just wrong. People didn't know how to act. It wasn't their fault. It was just a skill set they didn't have.
They absolutely did know how to act. It doesn't take anything
To act?
to act.
Now who's belittling actors?
It doesn't. If you have
It's not
you
Bradley
have it.
Cooper swinging his fingers around in the Maestro.
This kid in the Holdovers.
Great actor. You know why? Because he grew up watching good actors because he saw Jurassic Park.
No, he's just a good actor.
Yeah.
He's just an 18-year-old kid that wanted to act, acted, does good at it, so they gave him a part.
I bet his first Jurassic
Every
Park
generation
was Jurassic
has those
World.
people.
They do.
That's what I'm saying.
Now?
Every generation.
No, there were
every decade.
There were people in the 70s
Back
that were the best actors.
until caveman times when they were saying "Ugga Chug." Tell the story when David was spearing that saber-toothed tiger.
How do you go
doing
from-
so well?
How do you go from Ugga Chug, caveman talk, to a guy named David?
Both names.
Ugga Chug and David.
Names.
This went off the rails at the end.
I know. Because you shocked me, sir.
All right, prove me wrong. That's the whole fucking point of this podcast, dude.
Buddy.
Give me a movie and I'll be like, wow, that was
The
really
thing
good.
is, oh, man. It's just a hornet's nest that you are.
The best actor in Jaws was an animatronic shark.
That is not even close to being true.
It's not a great movie. It's not well acted.
I want everybody to hear this.
It's not well acted.
Wow.
Acting
Jaws isn't well acted.
Acting is better now.
Jaws isn't well acted.
The
Back
worst,
to the Future isn't well acted.
not as good as acting now.
Goonies.
Not as good. Okay, is he better in Goonies or is he better as Samwise Gamgee?
Sophie's Choice.
I choose not to watch it.
Not acted. Ben-Hur.
Yeah, Charleston Heston's not a good actor.
Wow.
What
The
movie is he-
Searchers. John Wayne isn't a good actor.
No.
This is
You know how I
crazy
know
stuff.
he's not a good actor? Because he thought that same shtick was good to play Genghis Khan as well.
Gregory Peck wasn't a good actor.
Stage actor, he was fantastic. It's
You
not
don't
as good on film.
think that it was a good film?
What, To Kill a Mockingbird?
Yes.
Better book.
I think that movie is insanely
It's my dad's
directed,
favorite movie.
Well acted.
Yes, for
incredibly
the time.
well. No, just
Movies are better
period.
now, though.
It's like saying books are better now to me.
No, that's not true.
But they have so much more years of book understanding,
That's-
Taylor.
no, but books are
Taylor,
still
they know
books.
books so much better now.
Books are still books.
Movies are still movies.
But they've only been around for 100 years.
You perfected it in 10.
20.
You've perfected it in 20.
Yeah. From Jurassic Park onward, movies became good.
Movies were around since the 30s.
Even the first Batman wasn't that great.
Man,
the
I wanna show
newer
you.
Batman are
Oh,
better.
you're going to watch so many classic films. You're going to be so
What's better,
upset.
Dark Knight or Batman 89?
Batman.
89?
I will watch that movie over and over
Is
again.
better than The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson's better than Heath Ledger.
As a Joker?
Yeah.
I mean, they're different Jokers.
Because one's better.
No, one couldn't be better than the other.
One's
It's like, you're
definitely-
telling me that this apple's better than this orange.
All right, can the Joker...
They're both fruit.
All right, so is Jared Leto a good Joker too?
No, Jared Leto's just a bad actor.
Right, because he's trying to be an old-timey actor going all method and shit.
No.
All right, we'll deal with this
Doesn't work
later.
out.
All right, watch The Holdovers, though. It's a great movie.
Watch The Holdovers, though. That movie is fantastic.
Fucking rules. All right. It really went off the rails.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so if you like things that go off the rails, be sure to follow this on whatever podcast. Write into upyouralleypod
Write in,
at gmail.com.
please.
If you think I'm right. That acting has gotten objectively better.
Please write in about
Since
this.
Jurassic Park.
Holy.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, please.
I can go tit for tat all day. All day.
Bring it in. Let them know.
So
Come
yeah,
on, Jake's Army. That's what all my fans are called.
can't wait to hear what Chris has to say. All right. So yeah, write us at upyouralleypod at gmail.com. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at upyouralleypod. Tell your friends about the show. Thank you all for listening. Let's find out what we're going to be getting into next week. Jake, what do you got for me?
Well, we talked about it at the top of the podcast.
Yeah.
It is Oscar season.
It is.
We haven't seen many Best Pictures.
It is.
Me and you, we're watching Anatomy of a Fall.
Anatomy of a Fall. Where do we
Yes,
watch
sir.
that?
That'll be on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
But we're going to watch that, and we're going to get ourselves ready for the Best Picture so that we have ourselves at least a better understanding of what caliber of films up there.
You're putting me at a weird spot now.
Yeah.
Because I had 3 choices that I was going to give you, and one of them was an Oscar movie.
Okay.
But I feel like that would just be a little much now.
I don't know. That's up to you.
I'm going to let you pick, since you're all
Out of
fucking
3?
choosy and opinionated. Well, they're all very different. Yeah, since you're being all stupid and bossy about shit.
On this podcast where you're supposed to talk about your opinions and stuff.
How dare you not have my opinion? So there's three. You want to do Oscar bait? Do you want to do another broad comedy, another new broad comedy, which I like, or true crime documentary? What do you want to do?
Let's do the comedy.
Comedy?
I'd love to do a comedy.
All right. So the comedy I'm recommending for you is written and directed by Jake Johnson, who most people know.
Oh, hell yeah.
It is called Self-Reliance on Hulu.
Sweet. I definitely want to see this.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
available to watch on Hulu. First, and kind of like how we did Fool's Paradise, which was the first written and directed by Charlie Day.
Yeah.
This is first written and directed by Jake Johnson,
Johnson.
who most people probably know from The New Girl.
He's
Also-
the only funny thing in The New Girl? For me. It was the only funny thing for
Max
me.
Greenbaum or Green something. The guy that plays Schmidt. He's hysterical too.
Jake Johnson.
Damon Wayans Jr. is great.
Oh, holy. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Damon Wayans Jr. is awesome.
It's a good show. It holds up.
I'm not going to watch it.
No, you don't have to. Prince is in one episode. But yeah, Jake Johnson is in this. The whole premise of this is Jake Johnson is brought into this dark web reality show where you have to survive.
Yeah.
And you're, what's his nuts from I Think You Should Leave is on there too.
Biff Whiff is in this.
Biff Whiff is in there.
Yeah.
So that's available to watch on Hulu. I'm
Me
going to
and
watch.
Biff Whiff, born on the same day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Crazy.
yeah.
Because he was like, happy birthday to me on my birthday. I was like, hey, say that to me.
He's a good actor for such an old guy.
He's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to watch that. Also, Anatomy of a Fall available on Netflix. Jake, thanks for hanging out. Love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.